What do you do if your weight loss is stalled? You're eating less and less, and you're exercising more and more, and you're not losing that weight, and your weight keeps on going up, or it's just staying the same. Perhaps you need a reverse diet. Metabolism depends on your weight. It depends on how much fat mass you've got. It depends on how much muscle mass you've got. It depends on your activity levels. It depends on how much you're moving, just generally, how much you fidget and things like that in the day. It depends on how many steps that you take. If you are like doing formal exercise, and if that exercise cardio, steady state cardio, HIIT training, or and it depends on which exercises that you pair together with like your muscle mass or your fat mass as well. So we're each different. We've each got these different combinations, and your metabolism will be based on that. And hormones are connected with that too, but hormones can be in response to what it is that we're doing, or hormones may be in response to something else in our lives too, and that can affect metabolism as well. So it's pretty complicated stuff, but we can keep on top of it by experimenting with ourselves and by having that data to know what's going on in our bodies. And if your muscle mass goes up, then your metabolism will go up as well. So there's a lot involved in where your metabolic rate is, which is why websites and these apps, they cannot guess correctly. You're going to have to work it out by yourself by monitoring what's going on with you, with your weight, with your muscle mass, with the calories that you're taking in, and with how you're feeling, whether you feel fueled for your workouts or if you're feeling depleted by your workouts and all of that kind of thing. It could be time for a reverse diet for you. So if you find that your weight loss has stalled and you are reducing your calories even more and more, it might be that you need to do this reverse diet to stop that. It just depends what you're eating, really. And are you already tracking? I would suggest track your calories and see what you're actually eating at the moment. You can get like a really vague idea from some apps and websites out there at what your calorie range might be for your activity level and for your height and all of that, and your weight. And because the slimmer you get, so the lower your body fat percentage, the lighter you get, the lower your baseline metabolism will be. But if you're doing more exercise, then that goes up, right? And we need to fuel that exercise. It's really important to fuel that exercise. Otherwise, your body thinks that it's going into crisis. It's like, I've got to do more, but I'm not being given the food to do more. And so I really need to conserve energy now and lower that metabolic rate. You don't want to do that, right? And so there are signs that we need one of these reverse diets. But yeah, do get tracking your calories and how much you're actually eating to find out, because some of you might already be eating too much, you know what I mean? And need to bring those calories down. But some of you might be eating too little and need to take those calories up and do a reverse diet. Reverse dieting is something that you need to know about, because metabolism can be kind of complicated, but it's not really. But if you understand how it works, and then you can kind of work with it instead of causing yourself problems so that you have to eat less and less and less and less and exercise more and more and more and more, and it doesn't work when you do that. So I want to talk about reverse dieting. I'm doing one at the moment to reset my metabolism. So what do I even mean by that? Well, the last few months, perhaps 4 or 5 months, I have been a lot of the time eating at maintenance level, which for me has been about 2,000 calories, but sometimes and quite often really going to about 1,800 calories, so 200 calories below maintenance. I'm about 21% fat at the moment. I want to lose a little bit. I need to do it really slowly, because when you get down to this leanness, if I were to go to 1,500 calories, number one, I would be really hungry all the time. Number two, my workouts would suck. Number three, I'd be losing muscle, hard gained muscle, and I don't want to do that, because I'd be losing muscle as well as fat, right? So the body, what it does, it tries to keep you alive. That's its number one purpose. It tries to keep you alive. So if you think of yourself from the body's point of view, you start exercising more, right? And so the body's like, okay, we're exercising more. I need to adapt to that. It depends on what kind of exercise you're doing as to which way your body's going to adapt. You know, if you're lifting up heavy things, your body's going to say, we need more muscle to lift up this heavy thing, because apparently we're lifting up heavy things now, and that's what we do in this body. If you're running a marathon or running 10 kilometers every day, then your body's going to go, okay, well, we'll adapt to this. What do we need to do to adapt to this? Well, we need to have like less muscle because that's heavy to carry that around, and it takes a lot, a lot of food to upkeep that muscle. And if we're running around so much each day, then we need to get more streamlined. We need to be a bit lighter. And so your body's going to lose more muscle if you're doing that kind of thing. But it's okay. I'm not saying don't do those things, but you need to know how the metabolism works, right? So that's exercise and how our body is going to change with exercise. But food, right? If you start eating below your maintenance, and so your body's like, okay, we don't have enough food in this environment at the moment, I need to streamline the metabolism to keep this person alive. It's important to keep them alive. And so your body starts functioning on less food. Now, if you're doing both at once, food restrictions and more exercise, which is what a lot of people do, and it's very tempting to do that because it's like, why not do both at once? Because then I can lose weight faster. When you're really causing two adaptations there with the body's freaking out. I'm not getting enough food and I'm doing more activity. But we really need to make a lot of change now in the body, right? And it's not change for the better, because remember, your body's trying to keep you alive. It's not going to use up your fat stores. It's like we're really going to need those fat stores for later, because we're in some kind of a famine at the moment, and they're also running away from saber-toothed tigers all the time, every single day. So the sirens are going off in the body and saying, this is a stressful situation that the person's in right now. Let's keep them alive at all costs. So the body kind of doubles down, and that's not what you want, right? We aren't actually in a famine. We've got like plenty of food available. So back to myself, what am I doing now after a few months of eating at maintenance and sometimes below maintenance and getting myself down to about 21% fat? What do I want to do now? Well, I'm on a break from CrossFit and Muay Thai at the moment while I rehab my shoulder and sort that out. And so while I'm doing that, I decided to run every other day. So I'm adding steady state cardio in, right? But I don't want to lose my muscle. So at the same time, I've decided to up my calories, eat a lot more to hold on to that muscle. So what I'm telling my body now is we're taking a break from lifting up heavy things and doing high intensity exercise. But I'm going to show your body that there's plenty of food available. So I'm eating lots of food, more carbs than usual. I'm telling the body, but don't lose that muscle, right? Because of the change that I'm doing, I'm telling the body, don't lose that muscle. I'm still eating plenty of protein and eating plenty of carbs. I'm like, relax, body. Everything's okay. Plenty of food coming in. You don't need to make any drastic adaptations. Lots of food coming in, right? So the body will settle down and go, oh, we've got plenty now. This is really good. I can function really well. So when I do this, my weight doesn't go up. My weight usually stays exactly the same. And in fact, I often lose body fat when I do this. It's like a reset. It's like telling your body, this is my new set point. I'm going to give you this much food. This is my new set point. I'm not talking about eating junk now. I'm not eating junk. I'm eating what I usually eat, but I'm just eating more of it, I might eat 2 chicken wraps a day. I'm having my usual breakfast, and then I'll have like a carbohydrate snack in the morning. So something, perhaps my rice cakes with caramel on them in the morning. So just more food and definitely more carbohydrates. So eating about 2,500 calories a day now. But switching my exercise up, the reason I'm still exercising and I've switched it up to cardio is to give my shoulder a rest so I can still move my body. I still want to move my body because I want to sleep well. I don't sleep well if I don't do any exercise at all. And I start to feel like, well, not happy because I'm not moving my body, It's hard enough anyway taking this break, because in the afternoons I'm like sat around going, what shall I do with myself? I'm not used to being so sedentary, but I do want to give my body a break. It's important to do that. So yeah, with taking a break with eating more, it's important to do that, especially if you have been trying to eat less and less and less and less. And like, if you're trying to constantly lose weight all the time, that's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do because you crash your metabolism. You're teaching your body there is a famine going on at the moment, right? Especially if you're eating well. Say if you've been eating, like 1,800 calories and you've taken it down to 1,500 calories and you're like, I'm still not losing weight, I need to eat less. 1,300 calories, then 1,200 calories. And then you get into the baseline. No woman should be eating less than 1,200 calories for your nutrition alone. You need that at least. So yeah, with the amount of activity that I do, I could probably get up to 2,500, 2,800 calories and perhaps even 3,000 calories for the amount that I do. So I'm going to be, eating a lot more. It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it because the kind of food that I eat is high volume food, fruits and vegetables and protein. It satiates me. And so I'm having to eat before I'm even hungry. To get those meals in, regular meals every, say, 3 hours, to get all of that in. So, but my body's loving it. It takes the stress off the body, especially if you're someone that is bothered by cortisol. If your sleep is disrupted, it's a good sign that your cortisol is too high. You're stressing your body out. Now, saying that, once I do start to put weight on, because if you do just keep on upping your calories, once the fat starts to go up, that's when I'd reassess it again. And once I get to the point of being steady at a new maintenance level, perhaps 2,500 calories, perhaps 2,800, and do my usual exercise again, then I would kind of reduce perhaps 200 calories and start losing more fat in that kind of a way. So it's good to give your body these diet breaks, let it find its new homeostasis, and especially to sort that cortisol out. Now you can tell if your cortisol is high because you might be able to get to sleep okay, but if you wake up in the night, it'd be very hard to get back to sleep. That shows you when your cortisol is high, because what happens is adenosine builds up during the day. Since you wake up in the morning, adenosine builds up in your brain all day and it starts making you sleepy. When that builds up, you're sleepy, right? And so you can go to sleep okay. Even if your cortisol is high, you can go to sleep okay because your adenosine has built up, and so you're sleepy. But once you've gone to sleep, that adenosine, it starts getting cleared up in your brain. And then, so if you're waking up, say, 4 hours later in the middle of the night to go pee or whatever, the adenosine has gone low enough that you're not sleepy anymore. The cortisol has woken you up properly. The cortisol is there and it's like having you think too much and it's stopping you from getting back to sleep. So if you find that your cortisol is high, if you are getting disrupted in the night like that and it's hard to get back to sleep, then it could be that you need to give your body a break on the dieting front and give it more good food and to reduce that cortisol. There are other things, of course, that can reduce cortisol as well, but sometimes it's our metabolism that is out of whack, and we are in control of it through what we eat. Eat good food, don't eat the junk food. You don't want to be making up the calories with junk food because you're going to cause other problems for your body if you do that kind of thing. And so, yeah, that is reverse dieting. It's about getting your calories back up there again, giving your body a break, allowing it to hold on to the muscle gains, the muscle that you've put on, and allowing it to find its own like homeostasis, new homeostasis, with more food, and see where it wants to settle now. Now, it has never been my experience that when I do this, that I start putting on weight. It just doesn't happen to me. Especially at first, the fat tends to drop down straight away. When I say weight, I don't really mean weight. Weight tends to stay the same. I'm watching my muscle amount that's on my body and my fat percentage because I've got special scales that do that. Weight can fluctuate all the time, and it's not really interesting. It's not useful, the weight. because your weight could be in water, it could be fat, it could be muscle, it could be bone. Do you know what I mean? You could be like losing weight on the scale and you're losing all your muscle and you're putting on fat. To have some really good scales, and if you want to know about my scales, I can tell you about those too. The Tanita scales, they've got a handle that pulls up, and it takes about 2 minutes, I'd say, each morning to run that. It goes through, it's an impedance scale, so it's running a like a current, I think, through my body, and it sends it through each hand and through each foot too, but it does it in stages. So it's like left side of the body, right side of the body, leg to leg, hand to hand, one hand to the other leg, and it goes through each stage like that so that it can see where all the different what's in my body, and it can, I don't know, it's got some kind of an algorithm that figures it all out, and it does seem to be right. And the reason I say that is if I've done a heavy leg workout, 2 days later, so not the next morning but the morning after, is when the muscle in my legs has gone up. If I've done like a heavy arm workout, it's the 2 days after that arm muscle shows up on it. And so it does respond. I don't know whether it's completely accurate, but it does respond like that, and it's a much better way of gauging what's going on in my body. And if you're interested, yeah, just check out the Tanita store. It's really expensive. It's a really expensive one. It's like what you would have in like in a medical practice, but I don't think that any other kind of scale is that useful, really. You can get the cheaper impedance scales, but they're just guessing. They're just guessing based on your weight and the information that you put in, like your age and your activity level and all of that, and then it just guesses it. It doesn't really do the impedance properly. But this one really seems to, so I think it's well worth it for the expense. I can't remember how much it was, but it was really expensive. But good investment to see what's actually going on in your body if you are interested in that. So if you're interested in learning any more, if you've got any questions about it, let me know in the comments below, and have the best day ever. I'll see you next time. Bye.